Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. Want to mind you all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, our official website, StephenKnightShow.com. All right, so it looks like Dave Chappelle, he's giving us new content on Netflix, according to ABC News. Now, the first of the series it's a series of shows coming out on Netflix, or specials coming out on Netflix, dubbed Chappelle's Home Team, featuring veteran comics introduced by Dave. So the first of the series is Earthquake Legendary. This will be there this month. Another series will highlight his friend and fellow comedian, Donald Rawlings. He said, I've been doing this a long time, and comedians like Quake and Donnell are not only friends, but they have inspired my own career. Anyone in the comedy community knows these names and knows it's their time to shine and is long overdue. I'm proud to be part of this moment. So pretty much he's given them a platform so the masses can know them. But if you remember, he had backlash from his last Netflix special, The Closer. Dave was heavily criticized for making transphobic comments. However, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos defended the special, saying that it's consistent with our comedy offering, it's consistent with Dave Chappelle's comedy brand, and this is one of those times when there's something on Netflix that you're not gonna like. So let's start with you, Cleopatra. What do you think about him getting this opportunity to introduce veteran comics to the masses and keeping this deal with Netflix?
I know it's unpopular opinion, but I love Dave Chappelle. I don't care what anyone says, right? Yeah. So like, I think that Dave Chappelle is a very special individual because he can really speak to all of the issues that are happening in the US. And he has a platform now with Netflix and his own thing that he's doing in terms of the comedy world to give a platform to other comedians that aren't often highlighted. We know that in terms of Black comedians, it seems like there's only 2 or 3 that can shine at any given moment. So I think it's special what he's doing right now.
Yeah. What about you, Chike?
So I think I've said this before. I'm probably going to be one of those people that push back on the political correctness. I think that people should be able to say whatever the hell it is that they want to say and let the chips fall where they may. If it's offensive to you, don't own it. You don't have to own it. You don't have to absorb it. But especially in the space of artistry, that is a comedian's art form to be able to do what they do. They have to be able to speak. They have to be able to tell stories in a certain way in order for it to be illuminated the way that it is. I don't agree. I don't like the whole cancel culture. I'm not like, long live Dave Chappelle. Continue to do you, brother.
And if you listen to what he said, because
check already cleared, that's why he's able to still do what he's doing, because the contract's already written.
Right. But when I watched, that's what made me watch the special to see what exactly did he say when it came out, the last one. And I didn't see where he said anything wrong.
But that's my whole point now, Stephen. Yeah. That's the whole point. Like, people are getting offended over like the smallest things. Oh, you sneezed. Oh, I'm offended. Like,
well, they got mad at Adele at the Brit Awards for saying,
"Oh, I saw that.
I'm so happy to be a woman."
She said she's a woman because she's a woman.
Right? Why is that? Oh my, they're just looking for anything now. But Steve Harvey, he's no longer doing stand-up because he said that he's scared of cancel culture. Well, Lynia, what are your thoughts?
On this platform, and I think we're all in agreement, we love Dave, period. He is a master at what he does. He connects with everyone, period. That's it. And I love the fact, because that's what you look for when you have someone and they have other people that they know that's amazing. Come on, y'all, I got you. Darnell has been with him for, like, he was a writer for the Dave Chappelle show. He's been with him for forever. Like, God rest his soul. Charlie Murphy was still here. Charlie Murphy would get one too. Period. Like, he is about putting his team on. And I'm going to go back to what we talked about earlier when it comes to Black men with Dave Chappelle. They tried to come at him again. Look, he getting ready to have something come out. So then they started to create this narrative about what went on where he lived at, about that development, and then lying, saying that he was denied, he was against affordable housing, and that's not what it was. They only put clickbait out there. This is what I mean by you can't be so quick to make a decision off of some clickbait, especially when it's a narrative that's created by other sources. You can't do that. It's not fair. And I think that they're going to be amazing specials. And like Chike said, listen, them checks had already cleared. He got his money. He's in a contract. So he owes them content. And he's going to give it to them. And congratulations to Earthquake, because Earthquake been in the game for forever. He deserves it. Congratulations to Darnell. And I can't wait to see what other comedians he puts on in that manner.
Absolutely. Well, so last week, Wendy Williams, her son, I believe, released a video, or she posted a video on her Instagram that her son was interviewing her. She was on the beach, and everybody thought it was in Florida because that's where her son lives. And she was saying that, she's doing well, looking to come back and do the Wendy show. There had been rumored for a while that the show was being canceled, and that I remember I read last week that if she didn't come back by March, then they were going to change the show this summer to the Sherri Shepherd show. But then this video came out, Wendy, and she looked pretty good, and she was saying that she wanted to come back to the show. But now it's been reported, according to loveyscott.com, that the Wendy Williams show, infamous show, is coming to an end. Sources to Coastal Production exclusively tell loveyscott.com that they'll be canceled this summer come June. Now, like I said, actress and former The View host Sherri Shepherd is set to have her show that will replace the nationally syndicated show. Sherri's deal has been finalized, and the Sherri Shepherd show, that's his working title, is set to premiere this fall. According to loveyscott.com production sources, the producers informed everyone that the Wendy show was going to be canceled, and then in the same breath hired them all to come work on Sherri's show. Production sources said that before the show ended, Wendy became challenging to work with. They said she became somewhat unbearable, having tantrums and throwing things at people. Basically, the consensus among the crew is that she didn't want to come back anymore anyway. And they said her illness may have exacerbated that feeling of her not wanting to return to the show. There've been a lot of people have had a love-hate relationship with Wendy Williams over the years, since radio and then the show. But I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of people, they want to see Wendy come back, and they don't think Sherri can sustain the show. But I will say Sherri's been a repeated guest co-host, and she has done amazing to me. She has me crying. I'll ask you, Chike, what are your thoughts? Do you think that Sherri will be able to keep that same type of show, or are they have to redirect the whole thing so it's no longer in the format of Wendy, but more Sherri?
I love Sherri Shepherd.
Yeah.
But I'm about to say some probably hurtful things that she might not like. I don't see Sherri Shepherd carrying a show out for the long haul. I think she's a tremendous talent. I like seeing her in certain aspects. I don't think that she's strong enough to carry a whole show by herself. That's just my opinion. I liked her on The View. I liked her as a guest host for the Wendy Williams show, but I don't know if I would invest in her brand as a whole new show and her being, that entity. She doesn't resonate with me that way. I don't feel her like that. And dealing with Miss Wendy, I always suspected that Wendy wanted out of a contract, and because they keep laying on the medical part. And I think that is how she's getting out of the contract, because that's probably a loophole. She has medical issues, and there's a loophole for her to slide out without any damage to the network. She can just slide out, and it can be just like, okay, nice clean break. But it had to be through medical issues. It's almost like work. You go out on medical leave. You can't just be out of work. You have to be out of work on medical leave. So she used her medical leave, and she's sliding out.
Mm-hmm. And you saw that Wells Fargo's suing her or something regarding her finances, saying that she's unable to manage them herself because of her
you have to figure her husband, her ex-husband, if they're divorced by now,
Yeah, they
Kevin,
are.
executive producer, he was too involved in the show. So the contract that came with that show, he's connected to still contractually. So technically, he still gets paid off of that show. And I'm sure she's probably not wanting that either. So if she puts an end to the situation, everything dealing with that is dead, and she can start new somewhere else. Wendy's going to be all right. She's a smart chick. She's been around for a long time.
Lynia, do you think Sherri can sustain the show?
I am unsure. Sherri Shepherd is funny, but for the type of show that the Wendy Williams show is, yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe doing something that's a different format that fits Sherri. She's amazing on her podcast with Kim Whitley. I know that they've been nominated, and like Chike says, she's great as when she comes on as like a guest co-host and stuff like that. So I'm not sure, but for Wendy, she can definitely pull a Joe Rogan and go ahead and get on podcasts, and nobody ain't got to see you, not necessarily unless you want them to, but I think that she would be able to get some good money if she went back and podcasts. And hell, you see how Joe Rogan, he got all kinds of unfilteredness going on. Yeah. She can be just as raw and unfiltered in the podcast realm because it's not attached to the radio world in that aspect of like the FCC fines and stuff like that, and you kind of towing the line. You can get away with a lot of stuff when you podcast.
Yeah.
So, I think that, if she can sustain herself long enough and really focus on her health, I think she may be able to, segue back into, radio in that realm, which could be good for her and just bad for everybody else.
Right. Exactly. What do you think, Cleopatra?
I always question when people think they can just swap and change a host of a talk show. Like the talk show is built around a particular person's personality. The Wendy Williams show is Wendy Williams. Like you can't just copy and paste someone else onto that. So I think for Sherri, she is going to have to take a completely new approach to that show in order for it to work. Otherwise, if she just tries to revamp Wendy's show, people are going to be like, you're not Wendy, and thus we're not going to view it, right? And she's going to speak to a different audience. So I think that's kind of her issue. And I do agree with Lynia that Wendy Williams can come back. Like people love Wendy, love, hate her, whatever. People want to follow Wendy. They want to hear her opinion on things. And so I think she can come back. And hopefully her health will be fine and she'll, go into her next chapter.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, it's good to see her looking good on that video on the beach. But I will say I was really impressed because like when Sherri Shepherd was on The View, sometimes she came out too loud and too, just in your face. I don't know. Sometimes she ignored me on there, but I was shocked to see how well she did while she did guest co-host the time she has over this last, since when she's been gone. She's done an amazing job. Like even today she was on there and I was doing something working and she said something and I just started laughing. I mean, like I said, she is funny. So I do think
it's a different format. The View is completely different. So she can be loud and boisterous on the Wendy Williams show, but on The View, you gotta tone down, so you can talk to that audience.
Exactly. But the good thing is that, like everyone said that has hosted the Wendy Williams show, it's a well-oiled machine. They have a great production staff. So hopefully they'll come up with something that shows Sherri in her light and not people looking for Wendy, during that hour. But we wish them all the best. Wendy, get better. Last story, I'll make this quick. So I saw a meme yesterday that says, or something this morning that says, Nick Cannon and Kiki White, they're Adam and Eve. Kiki White announced over the weekend that she is expecting her 11th bundle of joy.
Again?
She announced it on Instagram. It was a picture of her. Well, she's had several pictures. One of them is just her showing off her baby bump, and she's like wearing a red dress. And another one is her and her husband, and all but one of their children are there. She said that the other girl couldn't be there, but she's with us in spirit. And they announced that they're +1. She hashtagged it Baby 11, Trusting God, Baby Daring, and the Wyatt Bunch family and Kiki's kids. Do you think, and I know back in the day, parents had, families had a lot of kids, but now, do you think what do you think about someone having that many kids? I'll start with you, Cleopatra.
Hey, if you want to have that many kids and you're going to give them a good home and you have the financial capability, I think have as many kids as you want. Nick Cannon, I don't know if that applies to him. That's he's just impregnating everybody. Everyone he can think of impregnating, he's trying to impregnate. But I think for their situation, God bless them with another child. And so I'm happy for them.
Yeah. Nayyir?
Listen, between her and Nick Cannon, they are populating the world on their own. I saw I remember the chick's name, Lexi something. And Lexi said, I wish my faith was as strong as Kiki's uterus.
Yes.
Because Lord Jesus, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. I don't know how many baby daddies is it? How many husbands?
I think it's like 2 or 3.
It's not just one person.
I think it's 2 or 3.
Because before this husband, it was another husband, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, her and Nick running, they neck and neck. I mean, even though she's been married multiple times, but them a lot of bad. I don't even have a uterus and it hurt.
My concern was when she was on that show R&B Divas, she made reference to one of her ways of coping with things is having children. So I'm wondering if this is a healthy way of coping.
Her and Nick need to see counselors. Nick need a new therapist, and she need to go get one. I mean, because there is something to that. I don't care what nobody says. There's something to that. That whole let me get pregnant all the time and let me go impregnate people all the time.
What are your thoughts, Chike?
God bless them all.
Yeah.
And in their brood. I can't help but, this is just me thinking, I can't help but to think about how are you taking care of these kids? Nick is one thing. Nick has like a conglomerate going on. He has a lot. R&B is not really high on the charts right now. Like, you have to be on tour like all the time.
He stays torn.
But you have to. You have to. And then how do you do that when you have an infant? How do you do that when you have to, not be pregnant and come up off the stage? It's hard out here. You gotta spend all the time. I don't know. I love you, Kiki.
Yeah, we love Kiki, and she's super talented. Wish her all the best. Their family all the best. Listen, Cleopatra, thank you for joining us again tonight. We appreciate you filling in for Nayyir.
Thank you.
Lynia, have a great week. Check out, see your movie reviews, and we'll be right back after this.